Welcome back. Thank you for remaining with us, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Smart 24. We drive your business, and my name is definitely Anthony. Here to take you through the current, happenings on the financial markets scene. Still a reminder of Altex East Africa and Altex Clearing, who are here to tell you that hey, you can on several stocks. You can trade on several treasury bonds and treasury bills across East Africa by using your mobile phone, and this comes without even the use or need to have mobile data on your phone. You can now dial *292# and follow the prompts and be able to purchase yourself secure data. This of course has come as an initiative which they have done with MTN in collaboration with MTN Uganda and of course other partners, but they are aiming at bringing the accessibility of the stock market, bringing the accessibility to other securities like fixed income, and to a common person, just a trader in Chikubo, a person who rides borders. You can buy stocks. You can now be able to buy yourself treasury bonds and treasury bills at a cheap and very accessible method using the Zabu initiative, that is by dialing *292#. And you can do this and be able to use mobile money on MTN and transact from your mobile money onto the SCD account and do the vice versa as well. And they are doing this, and of course they launched it about a month ago or so, and they have been doing this to help grow the financial markets in East Africa and try to encourage local investment. Maybe to note, one of the biggest challenges that our markets face here in Africa, in particular in East Africa, is the flux of big foreign investors who hold a lot of stock. For example, in Kenya, about 48% of the stock market is actually owned by the foreign investors, and the local investors own about only 42%. And recently, Mr. Mudundo, who is the CEO of the exchange there in Nairobi, the Nairobi Stock Exchange, and the team there, the initiative to waiver off certain taxes for the local investors, to attract local investment for at least 30 days. And so they're doing all this in order to encourage the local person, a person from Uganda, a farmer, a trader, a teacher, a student who is watching right now, to invest in the stock market. And this, why it's important, is because, first of all, you're contributing to the growth of the economy, and then you're contributing to your savings, because these are assets into which we can save money for the long term, and that these long-term savings can come in handy later on in life. But besides that, there are returns, there are benefits of investing in the stock market. Like we have mentioned, several companies have issued dividends, Stanbic recently, Bank of Baroda, and the like. And all these are benefits you get only from the stock market. And there are other ways people benefit, like the bonus issue that was done by the National Insurance Company. This is a company that has been on the stock market since the year 2010, for over the last 12 years. And they are saying, instead of giving you, bonus issues, they give you, issue bonus shares. And they give you more shares based on how much you have in the company. Meaning by the time they issue a dividend later on, your value will be higher because you're going to gain more, because they give dividends still based on how many shares you have in the company. So Altex East Africa, in conjunction with Altex Clearing, are coming up with this initiative in order to help investors locally invest here in Uganda, and seeing that we see more of those investment companies that will definitely become to help you be able to invest. Now, looking at, before we look at the Nairobi Stock Exchange, our question could be maybe where are some of the gaps lacking in our capital markets here in Uganda? One of them, as I already mentioned, is the lack of local investors. But another one is probably ignorance. Many people, when they hear about the stock market, they are quick away to the other things they have heard of, like Ponzi schemes, and some people confuse it with cryptocurrency, Others, confuse it with other various investments. But the stock market is simply a place where the people that need capital, which is the companies that we're looking at here, they come and say, hey, we need capital. And because they cannot afford the expensive loans that have very high interest rates, they come to the public and say, hey, do you want to own some part of my company? I can give you a part of my company. You own some part. I use that money that you've given me to grow and expand my company. And every time I make a profit, I give back to you as a dividend. Every time you want to sell your shares, you sell them to another person, probably at a higher price, depending on the movements in the market, and you gain something back. That is simply how the market works. And this way, we see that actually the market is a very, very beneficial one, not only to the country, but also to you as an individual. Now, definitely this means a lot for the Ugandans, and we hope that this show will impact on you to start putting money aside, not to invest in agriculture, not to invest in a business, but to invest in the stocks, to invest in the bills, to invest in some of these passive investments where you don't have to wake up in the morning and go to MTN and see how it's run. You just have to go check on how the company is performing and see if they're making profits or not. And, you get some income as well from such, ventures. And definitely we hope this will be a means to give you that. Now, later on the show, talking about all this will be Dyer and Blair. They are a brokerage firm. Definitely, they have been in Uganda for quite some time, quite experienced in the brokerage industry. They have been brokering several companies, and definitely they have quite a number of experiences when it comes to the stock market. And this will be able to give you more information. I'll be talking to Miss Esther Kakiza, who is Assistant General Manager from the company, and they will be also sharing with us some of the things that we are talking about here on the market. And definitely she will join us today with the discussion on a certain topic that, of course, will be about brokerage, looking into what brokerage looks like for them, and if you want to join maybe the firm and you start trading on the stock markets, how do you do that? That is exactly what they will be doing, and they will be telling us more. But later on, that will be coming. And now, looking at the all-share index here on this screen, we looked at the performance, and looking at the performance, they will see that the index for the Uganda Security Exchange is still down 1,400 mark, but at least by yesterday, it gained a value of about 9.59 points, and that was 0.6%. All these rises are good indicators of a good performance, and definitely they give you a little picture of what the market may look like. Now, let's cross over to the Nairobi Stock Exchange. Definitely the Nairobi Stock Exchange is one of the most important exchanges in Africa, but the most important in East Africa, because it is the fastest growing, and also in terms of the number of listed equities, it has 65. Here in Uganda, we have only about 18 companies that are listed on the stock market, but the Nairobi Stock Exchange has 65. And now we're going to look into the performance of some of the top stocks on the stock exchange here on the Nairobi platform. Now let's look at the top gainers. They were led by Nairobi Business Ventures, who came out on top of the market, and definitely this indicates for the company at a 9.62% gain in price, of course, to about 3.76 Kenyan shillings as of the close of the markets yesterday. And the Nairobi Business Ventures came in second place after Nairobi Stock Exchange. Now, the Nairobi Stock, interestingly, is a demutualized stock exchange, meaning in 2014, during its initial public offer, it got demutualized into a business, into a profit-making business, from a non-for-profit to a profit, making business. And it got listed on the exchange, and it's trading under a ticker name called NSE, and that is the Nairobi Stock Exchange company that is listed on the stock exchange there in Nairobi. It gained about 10% to a price of 7.7 Kenyan shillings, and he was the top gainer market after trading, of course, on the market yesterday. They had a total of 18 gainers yesterday and 19 losers on the stock market, and Nairobi Stock Exchange led the gainers, who came in, of course, at about 10% appreciation. Then looking at other gainers here, Nairobi Business Ventures at 9.62%. We also had Ever Ready East Africa. Ever Ready gained at 8.33%. We also had a couple of other people here like Samia Africa gaining at 9.28% to 9%. We have Uchumi Supermarket. Uchumi Supermarket coming in at 0.19 Kenyan shillings and gaining by about 5.56%. We also had the insurance company of Kenya, that is C, who also came in at 4.48% gain, and that was to a price of 2.1 Ugandan shillings. We had other gainers like Stanley Fahari at 8% appreciation, also who came up among the top gainers on the market. We also had 4% and coming in from Lumuru Tea Company at 10% as well, and a couple of other people who came out on top. Now, at the end of the day, still we had some losers on the stock market. Some of the losers were actually led, of course, by we had the East African Portland Company, who came in at 10% loss, and then Card and General Kenya, who came in at 9.7%, and then we had Ever Ready East Africa. We had some at Car and General Kenya, and then definitely Safaricom. Now, Safaricom recorded the highest volume that was traded. That was a volume of about 9.78 million traded shares on the stock market. He was followed by Equity Holdings, Group Holdings, 1.09 million shares that were traded. Then Cooperative Bank of Kenya, who came in at 659,500, and Kenya Power and Lighting Company, who came in at 282,200. And those were the people who actually the market. But in aggregate, only about 45 listed equities participated in trading, and they definitely had 18 gainers on top and 19 losers. At the end of the day's trading session on the Nairobi Stock Exchange, we had a total of 13,153,600 shares in 1,153 deals, corresponding to a market value of 364,793,732. That is the worth of the shares that were traded, over 360 million yesterday. Compared with the previous day of trading, we had about 52% improvement in volume. We had 4% decline in turnover, but a 4% improvement in the deals. And the current market capitalization of the Nairobi Stock Exchange is at 2.16 trillion Ugandan shillings. Now, looking at the Nairobi Stock Exchange benchmark index, that is the all-share index. The index soared up. It went up by about 1.09, and that's about 0.79%, at 138.45. That is the Nairobi Stock Exchange all-share index. And looking at this performance over the last couple of days, we are seeing a slight, of course, increase in points, which is a good thing, because coming forward, definitely the market here in Nairobi has been faced with quite a number of challenges as regards the stock market, due to, as already mentioned, the problem of foreign investors who have led to capital flight as they liquidate and come out of the market to go and invest in more profitable, probably more attractive fixed income securities back home in their home countries like United States, China, and the like. And we are seeing also another problem of the exchange rates in Kenya. The weakening of the Kenyan shillings has led to quite a number of investors also running out of the market because they think that they're making losses as they invest in using the dollar, buying the shilling, and then selling the shillings later at a very expensive compared to the dollar. And so due to those, the Kenyan market, of course, had a lot of issues, especially by around the middle of this year, 2022. But looking back, the index was as high as over 150 just before the month of April in 2022, and then even above 175 at the end of the year 2021, as we can see in November and December 2021. But we can see right now we hit lows during this month, the beginning of July, lows of as low as maybe 130 points, 111 points, 110 points. But we can see the index also still rising back to the top again to over 130, 105, and yesterday closing at about 130 points. That is 138.45 points. This represents a 1 week gain of about 7.18%. and a 4-week gain of 7.3%, but an overall year-to-date loss of 16.83%. Other remarkable indices performing on Nairobi Securities Exchange were the NSE 20, which was at 0.36% daily loss, and a 2.81% weekly gain, and 11.39% daily year-to-date loss. The NSE 25 share index gained by 0.97%, and then that was on a daily, and then gained by 5.51% on a weekly, and then lost by 14.63% on a year-to-date level. And the FTSE NSE Kenya 15 index gained by 0% in the daily and lost by 18.79% year-to-date. That is, of course, the information regarding the performance of the Nairobi Stock Exchanges. You can still trade on this exchange for through quite several channels. As I already mentioned, Altex East Africa, you simply have to dial star 292 hash, and you are there. You have access to all these stocks across East Africa and more, given the income securities and other securities as well, and products that are severally traded. They also have the exchange traded fund as well on the Altex East Africa. But you can also use your stockbroker. You can go to your stockbroker in case you would want to trade on these other exchanges. You can now move to that through your stockbroker if at all he's able to access the market. For example, Standard Bank Group Securities. They will also be able to help you access that information there as well. Let's move on now to the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, which is the principal stock exchange of South Africa. Now, Johannesburg Stock Exchange yesterday ended with, we are looking at the benchmark index, the J203, ended with a loss of over 344.40 points, and that was a 0.51% loss in value there of their stock. And looking at the trading summary at the end of the session of trading yesterday on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, a total of over 219 68,632 shares were traded in over 244,902 deals, and corresponding to a market value of over 17 billion rand. That was traded yesterday. Compared with the previous JSE trading day, Monday, the data shows about 8% improvement in volume and then 12% improvement in turnover and a 23% improvement in the deals on the exchange. The current market capitalization of the Johannesburg Stock Exchange is 19.9 trillion rand. In the aggregate, we have over 367 Nairobi, Johannesburg Stock Exchange listed equities that participated in trading, ending with 129 gainers and about 188 losers. Lux Holdings led the gainers with the 125% price closing at 4.5 rand per share, followed by Sebata Holdings at 18.587%, who came in second. Then Eastern Platinum also came in at the third place at 18.52%, and Tongaat Hulet, who came in at the fourth place at 17.78% appreciation. On the losing side, we had Visual International Holdings, who came out last with an end of day price depreciation of 25% at 0.03 rand per share. And then we had Vivo Energy, who came in at a loss of 15.99%, coming in second place from the bottom. And then we had Cloud Atlas, and also we had the ETF of Chrometco. We had Old Mutual and the like. Old Mutual recorded, however, the highest volume of 12.9 million shares, followed by Growth Point Properties at 9.73 million, and MTN Group 0.37 million, and Redefine Properties at 8.2 million shares. Regarding the performance of the JSE market indices, the benchmark index, the all-share index, that is the G203, paired by about 63.04, meaning it went up by 63 to 0.09%. Drop it went down by about 0.09%, closing at 67,163.71, representing a gain of 3.32% and a 4-week gain of 1.18%, but an overall year-to-date loss of 1.18%. And then looking at the other remarkable indices, that was FTSE, JSE, mid-cap market indices at a 0% daily gain and a 3.37% weekly gain and a 6.96% year-to-date. Those are some of the indices on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Briefly also looking at the Nigerian stocks. The Nigerian stocks, of course, also went down by 6.32 points. That's about 0.01% loss there. And these, of course, they have over about 156 listings on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And at the end of the trading session yesterday, the Nigerian Stock Exchange had a total of 115 million shares, about above 115 million shares that were traded in 3,479 deals, corresponding to a market value of 1.7 billion naira, which was traded. Compared with the previous day, there was a 20% decline in volume and a 1% improvement in turnover, while a 10% decline in the deals. And the current market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange is about 27.8 Nigerian naira. That is the performance of that stock there in Nigeria. Definitely, it's important information across the board when it comes to the stock exchange, and this is what most of the foreign exchanges, the foreign stocks have done. They monitor the performance of almost all the stocks, and some of these companies are listed on several stock exchanges, and you can monitor its performance in Nairobi, Nigeria, and in other parts. For example, MTN, you can do that as well to see where you can invest and where it's attractive with more returns. We are going into a short break. We return with the headlines. Later on, we are talking to Miss Esther Kakiza, who is from the Dyer and Blair Stock Brokerage Company. He will give us more a little bit what they do there. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.